Hi there, I'm Dr. Alessandra Latour, founder of the Latour Leadership Academy. For more than 16 years, I've worked with leaders across organizations to strengthen how they think, decide, and operate, especially in high pressure environments. This podcast is where we go beyond surface level leadership advice. We talk about the patterns, behaviors, and structural gaps that actually shape how leaders show up, and why capable leaders still get stuck. You won't find generic frameworks here. You'll find perspective, clarity, and the kind of thinking that helps you lead more effectively in the moments that matter most. If you're ready to lead with greater clarity, discipline, and intention, you're in the right place. Let's get started. You've probably heard the narrative that younger professionals don't want leadership, that they're disengaged, that they don't want responsibility, that they reject hierarchy. But I don't think that's what's actually happening. What many people are rejecting isn't leadership itself. They're rejecting outdated models of leadership, models built around authority instead of influence, titles instead of contribution, control instead of trust. Leadership has evolved, and the professionals entering the workforce today are responding to that evolution in real time. They're asking different questions than previous generations did. Not just how do I move up, but how do I lead in a way that aligns with who I actually am? That question is the foundation of authentic leadership. Authentic leadership isn't about abandoning structure or avoiding responsibility. It's about aligning your values, strengths, and decisions in a way that allows people to trust you. And trust is the currency of modern leadership. Another model that's becoming increasingly relevant is servant leadership. The idea that leadership is not about power over people, it's about responsibility for people. Removing obstacles, developing capability, creating environments where others can succeed. When leaders operate this way, authority becomes far less important than impact. I remember a moment earlier in my career that really crystallized this for me. Like many people, I found myself operating at a level beyond the role I had been hired for. I had taken on a lot of responsibility, and I was helping solve strategic problems, supporting the team in ways that went well beyond my job description, and contributing at a much higher level than the title suggested. But the structure around the role didn't evolve with the work. At one point, I was told something that stuck with me. We don't have the resources to promote you into the role you're already doing. And that moment was revealing, not just about my own situation, but about how many other leadership systems are still designed. Situations like that create a subtle shift over time. You start to downplay your strengths, not because you lack ambition, but because when systems can't adapt to talent, people eventually stop offering their best thinking. That experience isn't unique to one generation. I see it happen constantly with emerging leaders. Imposter syndrome is everywhere right now. Highly capable professionals wondering if they're ready, if they belong in leadership conversations, if their approach to leadership will even be accepted. At the same time, many organizations still rely on leadership pathways built for a different era. Structures where advancement depends on someone leading above you, where titles define authority, where growth means moving up a narrow ladder. But modern careers rarely look like ladders anymore. They look more like portfolios. People develop expertise across functions. They build influence across teams. They lead projects before they lead departments. And leadership development needs to evolve alongside that reality. In veterinary medicine, for example, there are incredibly capable veterinary technicians and nurses who want to grow beyond purely clinical roles. Many of them have leadership instincts, operational insight, and mentoring abilities. But the traditional career pathway often stops at clinical excellence, not because they lack capability, but because the system hasn't created new pathways yet. When that happens, people leave, not because they reject leadership, but because leadership structures don't expand to match their potential. The future of leadership development isn't about forcing people into the same mold. It's about helping them discover how their strengths translate into leadership, helping them understand where they create impact, helping them develop confidence in their voice. Ambition shouldn't require becoming someone you're not. It shouldn't require suppressing your strengths. And it shouldn't require waiting indefinitely for a title to validate the work you're already doing. Leadership is evolving towards something healthier, more relational, more purpose driven, more focused on developing people rather than controlling them. And the organizations that embrace that shift will build stronger leaders as a result. If you're an emerging leader listening to this and you struggle with confidence, clarity, or imposter syndrome, know that you're not alone. That's exactly why I created my program From Imposter to Impact. It's designed to help leaders identify their strengths, own their contributions, and lead authentically without shrinking themselves to fit outdated expectations. You can find out more at latourleadershipacademy.com/imposter syndrome. Leadership isn't disappearing, it's simply becoming more human, and that's a very good thing. Thanks for joining me today. If this episode challenged your thinking, that's the point. And it's exactly the kind of work we continue beyond the podcast. You can explore more at latourleadershipacademy.com, where I share leadership programs and resources designed to help leaders translate insight into sustained behavior change. And if you're not already subscribed, join our weekly newsletter at authenticleadershipunlocked.com. It's where I go deeper on the patterns shaping leadership right now and what most people are missing. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next episode.